As you may know by now, the Opium Wars that occurred from 1839 to 1860 were two major conflicts between the Qing dynasty of China and primarily the United Kingdom. Trade disputes over the infamous illegal drug, opium, drove these wars. This drug had a harsh influence on China's humanity, sovereignty, economy, and its relationship with the United Kingdom. As retold in our film, the conflicts were divided into two separate wars. The First Opium War, being from 1839 to 1842, and the Second Opium War, which was from 1856 to 1860. Together, these two wars marked the beginning of the century of humiliation, as China would call it, when foreign powers forced unequal treaties on it. How did the Opium Wars begin? This story begins in the early 19th century, when trade became popular and industrialization was just taking off. China under the Qing dynasty had a strong economy and produced goods that the Europeans greatly desired. For example, tea, silk, and porcelain were popular staples in Europe at the time. However, the British desire for tea particularly outweighed their desire for other goods and resources. China, as an economically wealthy country, had little to no interest in what the Europeans had to offer in exchange for their enormous desire, and the Europeans eventually had to resort to only trading silver. However, the demand for tea in Europe was getting out of hand. They were giving China too much of their silver, leading to a severe trade imbalance between the nations. The British needed something else they could trade to the Chinese, so they began gathering and exporting opium from British-controlled India into China. After a few trades, the Chinese government learned the potential danger of this drug, so they declared it illegal. Even though it was officially illegal in China, the British found ways to smuggle in the drug. After this, millions of people became addicted to opium, and large amounts of silver were being used to pay for it. Opium had turned into a big problem throughout China. The government saw it as a serious social and economic problem for their society, and they wanted to take action. This task would be difficult. They could not rely on their military or workforce due to their addictions and weaknesses. Meanwhile, the Qing government of China appointed Lin Zexu as an imperial commissioner highly respected. They believed that he could eliminate the opium trafficking. In 1839, Lin Zexu took action to try and stop the opium trade and smuggling. He arrived at the trading port of, I'm going to pause this so bad, Guangzhou, Canton, and demanded that all foreign merchants turn in their opium supplies. The merchants refused to do so. Therefore, he confiscated and destroyed about 20,000 chests of opium on his own, dumping them into the sea. Britain did not like this one bit, so they set themselves up for war and sent 2 warships to China, which destroyed the Pearl River Delta. This was bad news for China. While Britain had advanced weapons, artillery, and battleships, it relied on outdated traditional equipment. China lost the war, and the two nations concluded the Treaty of Nanking in 1842, which was at the end of the First War. After the war, China had to agree to paying for Britain's reparations, kind of like insurance, foreign trades, giving Britain Hong Kong, and giving Britain extraterritorial rights. This was one of the first foreign countries to propose an unequal treaty on China in its history. China then felt that the treaty was unequal and something needed to be changed. And that's how the Second Opium War started. After the First War, nothing was really solved. China had to hand over some territory and open trade. However, the conflicts between the two nations continued. This time, it was Britain and the other countries who wanted access to the Chinese market. China was over it. The next Opium War began in 1856, after what is known as the Arrow Incident, a dispute over a British registered ship. The British took this as a way to start another war. At this time, Britain was joined by France, which also had its ups and downs with the Qing dynasty. Anglo-French forces attacked coastal city and advanced inland. Eventually, in 1856, the Qing dynasty was forced to sign another treaty, this time the Treaty of Tientsin, which granted even more privileges to foreign powers and trade. These treaties opened more foreign access to trade, allowed diplomats to live in Beijing, legalized opium trade, let missionaries explore China. China attempted to resist these treaties, so the war continued. The Anglo-French troops destroyed infrastructure such as the Old Summer Palace. The destruction of the building was intended as a punishment for China for denying the Treaty of Tientsin. At the end of the war, China was forced to agree to the Convention of Peking, which confirmed earlier treaties proposed during the war and granted additional benefits to foreign powers. In the end, China faced long-lasting consequences due to the Opium Wars. After being defeated by the European powers, the Qing dynasty was forced to sign unequal treaties that weakened its sovereignty and opened many trading ports to foreign control. China lost territory, including Hong Kong, and had to pay large financial reparations. Lastly, the wars increased the spread of opium, damaged China's economy, and turned China into an unstable nation. Overall, these consequences marked the beginning of a long period of foreign influence and unfortunate decline in China. Is that a British ship?
It might be. Why would they be here though?
I don't know, but something tells me that they aren't here for a good thing.
Why do you think that?
Well, think about it. The rich keep raising the price of tea for the British. Surely that would ruin their economy.
Well, we are the center of the world, and they need our tea. They just have to deal with it.
Captain, I see land ahead.
Make sure it's the southern port. All those merchants are waiting for us there.
Yes, Captain. But is this much silver really worth the tea they give us?
If that's what the higher-ups want, who are we to judge?
But what about our economy?
That isn't up to us.
Won't the trades be unbalanced?
We'll see how it goes.
When the ship goes to the port and the British come to the southern port of Canton.
Hello, we brought the silver. Where's the tea?
Here it is. But the price has been raised. Do you even have enough?
Raised? Already? Did you guys take enough silver from us?
Well, do you want the tea or not?
Yes, take the silver.
After they trade and load everything into the bridge ships.
British one, tell the officials that the price of tea rose again.
Yes, Captain. Does that include how they just want to extort money from us?
Yes, do so immediately.
Back in Britain with prominent officials. We can't afford this anymore. It's ruining our economy.
What shall we do?
I don't know. But what I know is that we can't keep letting China walk all over us like this anymore.
I have an idea.
What is your idea?
Let's start pumping a bunch of opium from India into China and get their citizens addicted to it. It'll be like revenge for ruining our economy.
You're right. We just have to bribe people, and then China will be on its downfall.
Yes, this is how we will get access to the Chinese market again for tea, porcelain, and other resources.
A while later, as the British merchants came to China again with a load of smuggled opium in the ships, I brought something special to you. British man slips a lot of money to the wealthy merchant's hands.
What do you need me to do?
I need you to start selling all these bags to the elite. British man points to the crates of opium.
What am I gonna get out of this?
We'll pay you to keep doing this until we deem it is done.
Deal. Pay me what I want, and I'll make sure the elite get everything in the box.
Rich merchant delivers the boxes during a party for the elite and powerful in China. What do you have here?
It's called opium. You should try it.
What is opium? Is it safe?
Yes, it is. The best of the best.
Let me try some. I'm curious to see how it is.
The Qing government official takes some and gets high. Others follow his lead as more and more rich people began getting addicted to opioids.
Back to Britain. It's working. China is slowly losing its power because they've been getting addicted to opioids.
Let's continue. It's only a matter of time until China falls from its pedestal.
When the Qing government finally sees how much addiction there is in the country, they decide it's time to try and put an end to it since it's becoming too widespread and ruining their economy.
Commander Lin Zexu, can you take on the task of ending the addiction crisis? Yes, sir. I'll take control of the trades and end it for good. Good job. I'll be counting on you to bring our economy back to a stable place.
Commissioner Shin Siyu starts confiscating opioids and destroying them.
British begin to notice the opioids destroying them, and they prepare their military for war.
We can't let them destroy all our opium when our economy is starting to improve again.
You're right. We have to fight back against them.
Britain initiates war against China. Surely we will win this war. Look at our weapons and artillery and everything, too.
Indeed. The funny thing, we can bring out the warships and attack them in that way.
The Quinn system may be good at maintaining order and stability, but we have what it takes to beat them at war.
We will begin by destroying the blockade of the Pearl Sioux River Delta.
One ship?
2 ships.
Government in China discussion. Britain has begun the war by crashing into 29 of our vessels.
Where?
It seems that they have targeted the Pearl.
I predict that they will begin to advance up the Yangtze River.
Oh no. From there, they will probably try to cut off the Grand Canal.
It's too bad that this war is not land-based. We lack ships and weaponry to fight back.
I don't think it's that serious.
Yes, maybe you're right. Maybe this is all just a trade dispute.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Can't be too serious.
Oh, it was that serious, alright.
China loses and is forced to sign the Treaty of Nanjing on August 29, 1842. Seeing how weak China was, other nations began to take advantage of the once great nation's gradual downfall.
Wait, I'm not happy with the treaty we agreed to. Let's try and get more out of them.
Let's start another war.
Britain is declaring war on us again!
What do they want this time? We've already signed their treaty. We ended the Kenta system. Now they basically want to control Hong Kong.
They want to expand trade access to all of Britain and legalize opium.
Oh no.
This led to the Second Opium War, where China suffered another defeat and was forced to sign the Convention for the extension of Hong Kong territory. China's downfall led to the Great Century of Humiliation, which lasted from 1839 to 1949. China was subjected to defeat and exploitation due to the Opium Wars, which was something its country had never faced. They felt humiliated, and since they saw themselves as superior, they felt that their reputation was ruined. The Century of Humiliation was a time of regrowth and suffering and shame for their economic and political system. They overcame these hardships, though. Eventually, this led to the downfall of the Qing Empire in 1911, and China was never able to recover its former glory. They put an end to the Opium Wars.
Hello, everybody. Today we're with
Mr. T.
yes, and we're gonna be interviewing him on our Opium War questions. So, first question is, what were the primary causes of the first Opium War?
Well, the primary causes of the Opium War were opium, geopolitics, and money.
Okay. Question 2. Why did the Chinese government decide to ban opium consumption and trade? And why did that decision lead to war?
They decided to ban opium consumption to gain geopolitical power over their enemies. Did I get that right? Did I get that right?
I'll cut it out.
Question 3. What was the role of the East India Company in the opium trade, and how was this viewed in Britain?
The East India Trade Company was an enemy of the other country, and they saw them as a threat.
Okay. 4. What was the impact of the Opium Wars on the stability of the Qing dynasty?
The Opium Wars weakened the Qin dynasty in China. They weakened them.
Okay. Question 5. Do you think the Opium War was inevitable? If so, like why or why not?
I believe the Opium Wars were gonna happen no matter what.
6. Question
How
6.
many questions are there? What?
No, we're almost finished.
It's 10 questions.
10? You guys said 5.
It's only been 2 minutes.
Okay.
It's 6. 7. What do you believe could have prevented the Opium Wars?
Okay, one more time. It's okay that I don't know anything about the Opium Wars, right?
Yes.
Okay, what could have been done to prevent the Opium Wars? Countries could have not tried opium and become addicted to opium in the first place.
True that. Question 7. How would you describe the Opium Wars?
Like in one word, one sentence.
Like whatever comes to mind. Whatever.
The Opium Wars were tragic but inevitable.
Okay. True that too. 8.
Wait, so am I getting these right? I can't tell what's going on.
Oh, question 8. What lessons do we learn from the Opium Wars?
Well, we learned that drugs are bad. Drugs are always bad. Mr. T statement right there.
Yes. That's true. That's facts right there.
And another thing to take away from the Opium War is that you don't mess with China.
I like that statement. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time.